I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Steve, you go ahead, Phil.
Father, we come to you in Jesus' name today. Thank you that we can be here. Thank you, Lord, for your love, your grace, and mercy. We pray that you be with us and help us as we make decisions regarding this county, as we make decisions regarding requests that have come in. Lord, give us new ideas, new insight, and help us have a sense of urgency to always be about the business of our county and seeing that the people of this county prosper. Lord, it won't only be solved through government, but that there will be ideas and there will be prosperity continuously in this county. That's our prayer today. We give you praise, honor, and glory for it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Call the December the 6th meeting of the county commission to order.
Mr. President, I'd like to add one non-actionable item to the agenda, a letter from the Tri-County Fair that I received last night.
Okay.
That'll work? Yes.
All right. The first item on this agenda will be, if you want me to hear, you're gonna have to speak up. I've had a hearing problem here just lately. I've had kind of inner ear infection and I can't have hear. So Paul Lewis was on the top, but Paul had an accident and will not be here today.
I do have his report, if y'all want a copy of them.
You got,
Yes.
okay.
Thank you.
Yes, it's on my office.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can read them to me if you want me to.
That'll be fine.
Yeah, let's read it out so we can.
Report of activities, sorry, Nathan Kessler. Report of activities for Office of Emergency Management in the 911 Center. Activities during the month of November 2022. The road and pad for the tower site is completed and stone has been placed on the road to the site. Center line of the tower has been staked along with the A1 study being done. We will now have a new study done to make sure that the height of the tower has to be in order to make connectivity to the Helmet Rock tower. Currently, Mead and Hunt are doing the right-of-way survey and the environmental study. As soon as he gets clearance on the environmental study, he'll be able to order the steel once his clearance is approved and he'll begin construction. I know that Hardy Telecommunications wants to add a line to the tower when we start running electric to the site. He's applied for additional funding for the siren program from the SHGP grant program, and he discussed that the grant with the state is still are waiting on FEMA to make a decision on what to fund under the grant. The grant is still in the running for funding, and we're still waiting on FEMA to make a decision on it. The state said they approved the funding and sent it to FEMA for review. He's called about this grant, but still waiting on with FEMA.
Hey, Nathan,
Yes.
I want to put a pause on it and just bring up something here. It's very important in the environment we're in right now to work with HardyTel because the lead time on fiber can be a year. The supply chain, there are issues. And so it's always important for us to do that. I just have that piece of information, and it's just something to always keep in mind that as we're planning towers, the cell companies are going to look for, to have fiber for the backhaul. They're going to look for that, and we have to have, HardyTel has to have lead time. And that's an important point.
He talked to a siren maintenance person about the antennas that siren are to replace on the towers in our area, but they are having a hard time getting them. The antennas are coming from Australia and are being delayed in manufacturing and shipping, just like everything else. I believe that they ordered about 60 antennas, and they have only received about 6 of those. He talked to a repair person, and he said he's going to go replace one on Helmet Rock and Charlie's Knob as soon as they get enough of them in. There have been problems with them on Helmet and Charlie's Knob. He is to keep me informed on the progress of replacements. Currently are starting to change out some of the antennas now. They've already done some in Pelham County. Call volumes for November. Center handled 650 calls, and dispatched to first responders. Law enforcement had the following calls: DNR 25, Hardy County Sheriff's Office had 178, Moorefield Police Department had 267 calls, and the State Police had 267 calls as well. EMS had the following calls: West Hardy had 130 calls, Hicka had 74 calls, and Wardensville had 30 calls. The fire departments had the following calls: Cape and Valley had 9 calls, Matthias Baker had 12 calls, Moorefield Volunteer Fire Department had 28 calls. We had 12 calls that we called DOH on during the month for various problems. Office of Emergency Management Grants, he's still waiting on Stephen Powell of Rockingham County to rework the MOU with us. So we discussed a couple months back with him.
Yeah,
and
right.
He just hasn't said the updated agreement and stuff like that.
Like there were things that had in it that we requested they change.
But I think it was just updating, because I think it was from like 2009 or
Oh.
something like that, just
Okay,
bringing it to date.
okay, okay.
Still waiting approval of the 2020 EMPG grant that Wendy and I submitted in August to State Oasis. I've checked, and I believe that we have all the necessary paperwork in for the grant. I'm not sure when they will review it and send us the funds for the grant or how much it will be. The LAPC met twice for a quarterly meeting, and they haven't met to review make changes to the current bylaws. They need to be reviewed each year. Some of the changes made are to be consistent with the state is requiring. Next group will be working on getting more people involved in the industries. We will approve the revised bylaws when we meet in January 2023.
Any more questions for Nate? On Paul's work? Thank you, Nate.
Yep.
Boy, if we get it. They are putting the towel and outstanding orders on that right today. So, well, Nathan, I've got you right back up here again. You wanna do yours? Nathan.
Oh, whichever one.
Doesn't matter.
Nathan, there you go. That's who's on the list here.
You're not the only one that can't hear Jay.
My hand, yeah. Mine's gonna be short and sweet this month. Nathan Kessner, Hardy County Ambulance Authority, Assistant Director. November was a pretty chill month for the department. Following monthly update. This says September, but I forgot to change it to November. Those are just November's numbers. Total expenses for month of November, $124,571.01. Total revenue for the month of September, $102,546.85. Comprised of $65,000 from the fee, $37,210.46 from our services, and $336.39 from other incomes. And that'll be a rebate on our fuel cards and stuff like that. Call logs. I think we had 74 alerts. Our CAD system was down back off and on for the month, so I didn't have the total numbers for us as far as dispatch, but we had 38 transports. We remained pretty steady. I think West Hardy only had to come over once for us for a call. I think it was the third good call too, it wasn't the second good. We were on the third good call out. I don't think we had much to bring out of the board of directors meeting. They're still working on his proposal. I think President was there for that. I had missed that meeting, unfortunately. We have our serve unit getting lights installed, emergency lights and siren. Hopefully that'll be done tomorrow, is what we're hoping on. The building, I know a gentleman did come over and do a walk around. I think he did do a couple patching, if I understood right, to see if it's gonna hold, but we haven't had another heavy rain yet. Or, snow sitting on top of the roof to see what happens with that. This month I'm just requesting a drawdown of $65,000. Appreciate your time.
I make a motion that we approve the request to draw down of $65,000.
Second.
Properly moved to approve the, drawdown of $65,000. Is there any discussion? No discussion, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved.
Anything for me?
Any questions for me?
Thank you.
Nate.
Thank you all.
Bill's not here. Sheriff Dawson?
Sheriff Dalton have a lot to report. Our budget, we're doing real good so far on it. We're, December goes halfway through the fiscal year, and we're running right now about 40% expenditure of our budget, so we're running about where we wanna be, about 10% under budget, so, you know, with gas prices being what they are, so we've gotta try and keep some in reserve, make sure we'll be all right for the end of the year, but so far, we're doing really good. We brought Austin on as school resource officer off the ring. He's working here now in Moorfield. Glad to have him. Hate to steal him from the city, because, you know, they need their people too, but, you know, he was a good fit. I thought he wanted to come over with us, so we've got him now. And we've got several drug cases. I met with the task force, some of their guys on Friday. There'll be some big cases coming down the road here shortly, and a lot of good work they've been doing here in Hardy County. As far as our equipment goes, JT's got most of the stuff in now to equip the cars when we get them in, so he'll be able to get started on that as soon as they come in. And the grant, what I understand, for the new roof on the sheriff's office over there, it's been approved, so I think we're in pretty good order right now. Things keep running the way they're going.
Yes. Yeah. I think Wendy is going to give a report, because we applied for that grant, and we did get it, so that's great news.
Yeah, it is. If y'all have any questions for me?
Do you have any information that you can share at this time about the fire at the plant last night?
No, I just know it happened, that's all I know, but I haven't had a chance to go down and talk to the city guys and see, you know, I figure they were probably on scene, but I haven't had a chance to talk to them about, see exactly what did go on. What I understand is in the boiler room.
Yeah, the cook plant,
Yeah.
the big, you know, the highest place in there, there was a video of it. We'll have to see what damage comes out, but
Yeah.
it looked pretty bad.
Yeah, I'll run down when we get done here and see what I can find out from them, and I'll let you all know.
Okay.
What I understand, the fire company cleared about 4:30 this morning, somewhere around there.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
I just feel, like I say, this time of year, a number of folks that work there, you know, their jobs being impacted, that certainly is a concern for those folks at this point in time. We're wondering how long that might be a
Yeah, sure.
factor in production.
Well, it worries us anytime you have something like that go on down there, because they got so much ammonia and stuff down there, you always got the chance for some kind of hazardous material incident. Thank goodness that didn't happen.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you
Yeah,
all.
thank you, Sheriff. Thank you.
Hey Sharon, I got a question for you.
All right, with that, you wanna move the first meeting in January, change the date?
And I'd like to make a motion that we move that
Go
first
ahead.
meeting,
Okay, go ahead.
move our
Shut it
first
down.
meeting in January, instead of the first Tuesday, it'll be the second Tuesday.
I got everything.
So that would
Right on here,
be
now.
to Tuesday, January 10th.
Okay, I didn't wanna do anything with that.
And I
Yeah.
think
Thank you.
You're welcome.
while we're at it, the Association of Counties, our meeting, and this is for sure, I believe, that the meeting for the Association of Counties in Charleston is gonna be that first Tuesday.
Yes, it is.
So we should do both January and February while we're at it, most likely.
Yeah, probably.
You wanna move them both to the
Yeah,
second?
move to the second. Move to the
We'll just
second
move them both
Tuesday.
to the second.
So what will
Tuesday.
that date, February?
The date in February then will be the 14th. So January would be the 10th and February would be the 14th.
I'll second that motion.
Steve made that motion. All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Good
Meetings
catch,
have been
Steve.
moved. All right. That's all we need to do. We'll do the rest of the meeting dates on the first meeting of the year.
Right.
That's when we do them. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Darren Taylor, next on the list. Morning.
Morning, Dan.
Darren Taylor, Director of the South Branch Valley Day Report Centers, serving this county and Hampshire and Hamilton counties. Come today to present the intergovernmental agreement memorandum of understanding for support between the three counties. It's already been signed by Hamilton County. Hoping to get your signature as well to continue supporting, and we do appreciate the support you guys give us year after year. It helps keep the operation running and helps us to help members of the community. The program's done really well this year. I took over, as you know, as director in January, and done a lot of work this year to try and keep the program moving in the direction that I see that it needs to go. I started the year out by going to the state director for the grant program, Marty Hatfield in Charleston, and basically sat down with me and said, what are we doing that you don't like? What aren't we doing that you need us to do? How can we make things better? And what's the vision of the state for this program? And then drew a map out for our program for the year and the direction I wanted it to go. Started working at it. We've renewed relationships with referring sources. That's actually helped us to achieve a level that's going to give us sustainability in operations. We've gotten more referrals through that. We picked up referrals through parole, probation, through the court system in general, and we're moving in a really good direction.
Yeah, and I will just say, I joined the meeting, the last meeting we had through Zoom. I wish I would have been able to be there in person, but I couldn't, and it was a really good meeting. There are things being done that honestly, I didn't know before then that there was money available in that program. We found where it's like, it's at a multiple, I mean, from where we were before, in terms of the money that's coming in now through a certain program's referral system. And that was a phenomenal thing. And there's other work being done that's substantial, that is leading to long-term stability for this program. And I think that I talked with other board members, because I'm the county commissioner representative to that board, and I talked to other board members and their feeling is the same. And I know Shauna Kreis was there. She said some good things, made some good points during the meeting, one of our magistrates. So, there's good work being done at the Day Report Center. There is.
The grant funding coming in is good at this point. We received all the money that we asked for the Community Corrections Grant, which is the bulk of the funding for the program. I just received word that it's a telehealth program that actually allows us to serve members of the county in more rural areas just through telehealth, where they get medicine, they get therapy services, they get classes that they would otherwise not be able to achieve. They can do it from their phone, or they can come into our office. We got an increase in the funding for that, so that we're going to be able to hire hopefully a part-time LPN to assist with the nurse that we already have on staff.
Hey, Darren, can I ask you something? So with Gene McConnell, he didn't win the election in Pendleton County. Like, would that be something that comes up in the board meeting, or will he still serve in the same role? I doubt it, right? Because they want to come up with that would be a big deal. Gene McConnell is a very important member of the board.
Gene's the chairman of our board of directors, so yeah, that will come up in the meeting.
Yeah,
We'll
okay.
discuss that, and we'll have to look for a replacement from that county, and hopefully it'll be whoever the commissioner is.
Yeah, that would be an important thing, because Gene McConnell was extremely important on that
Gene
board.
was a super guy.
He's part of the reason Darren's there probably, so that's a big deal. But we'll just keep going, and hopefully somebody else will step up and be of the same mind as him, because he was very good to work with, and extremely knowledgeable and extremely competent.
Gene was a big support for our program.
Yes, he was.
So you need a,
I need a signature on this, which is it is an identical copy of last year's memorandum of understanding. Nothing changed except for the dates. The funding request will be the same, and it's the same for all three counties.
I'll make a motion that we approve the resolution presented.
I second it.
Properly moved and second to accept the memorandum of understanding with the Day Report Center. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Take her.
Motion approved.
Can I make 2 copies of that, one for us and then one for Greg?
Ready
It's only got, with your signature from here, I only have 2 signatures on it. I can get you the completed one with all the signatures
if
on it
you
when that's
mind.
done. I don't mind.
Okay.
I'll be going to the Hampshire County Commission meeting next month. And we'll get that
Okay.
to you.
We wanna
Yeah,
ask
that
them
works.
about the
You're welcome.
I talked with him. I will want to let you guys know, I talked with Darren about the keys, cause we had a request for keys. More keys are needed at the Day Report Center. The keys that have been used in the past and that we approved, you know, there's a new director there now, so there were some things in transition, and I don't think we should, in my opinion, I would like to make a motion that we don't charge for the keys that are being requested.
Okay, I'll second that.
Properly moved and second, then be no charge for the keys.
Okay.
Any discussion? No discussion, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. No charge on the keys.
Short and sweet.
You back already?
Yeah, it didn't take very long. I have a contact person down at the plant that I meet with every month, trying to stay on top of what's going on down there. I just talked to him. He said it didn't look like it was gonna be anything long-term, be putting people out working, and actually they've got people showing up on day shift for that division. It's one of the newer parts of the plant that's only been in existence for a couple of years. It's just gonna be a matter of, probably fire marshal coming in, an investigator, and looking at it and make sure that, you know, it wasn't anything done by somebody on purpose, so there'll be a little bit of investigation on them, but it doesn't look like you're gonna be putting anybody out of work or anything long-term like that.
That is good. That's
Really
good.
good.
Thank you
Good.
for
Thank
that
you,
update.
Steve.
Thank you a lot.
Sure.
All right. We're done with Darren. Next on the list is Miss Betsy Ondo.
Good morning and greetings from Tiny Town. If you don't mind, I'm gonna do a little bit of shuffling. Eric, if you'll second chair me. Well, leave it to me, I'm gonna wind up, I manage to mess up technology wherever I go, whether it's in a classroom or an office or a public building, my apologies. As I said, greetings from Wardensville, or as I fondly call it, Tiny Town. We had sent 2 letters over requesting consideration from, I want to call it your remaining ARPA funds. You all have done great work in the county, disseminating and sharing your ARPA funds. And we have 2 different requests for you. And in each letter, I wrote a specific request. That's kind of me reaching for the stars or, you know, asking for the whole enchilada. We will take anything. We'll take peanut butter and jelly, and I'll take 2 pieces of Wonder Bread and Wish. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. I'm gonna start small and go slightly larger. I'd like to introduce Eric Atkinson. He is my chief operator. Our utility, we're a 1.5 person show, and our big deal is making sure that the water is safe and the wastewater gets treated properly. We're here today to talk about the roof on the community center, and then I'm going to move over into the wastewater treatment plant. The town has 2 big projects in utilities that we're working on. Eric brought maps if you want to see maps, and if you don't want to see maps today, that's fine. If you want to come over to Tiny Town, we'll get out a table and we'll talk maps, and we like nothing better than load people up in the town vehicle and drive you around, because we've got some cool stuff. The community center roof, for a little background information, Steve, I'm not sure if you're aware, but then I'll do the quick thing. Back in the early 90s, the town received the Wardensville School from Hardin County Schools. The school was moving up to East Hardy, and the town did not want to lose that building, and so they pulled together and we created a community center. And in working with Dr. Jerry and Dr. Johnny of Hahn Medical, we basically divided the main building in 2, which part of that became Hahn Medical, and the other half became the community center. And then we have another project that I'll mention, and I'll come back another day, the cafeteria. We need a roof desperately. We put in for a federal earmark with Senator Capito and Senator Manchin last year, and we called it the definite maybe until we heard no. We thought we might get lucky, we didn't. We're now pursuing funding through the USDA Community Facilities Program with Jenna Lowry in Morgantown. They have a small grant program, and they will fund 35% of a project cost based on the median household income for Hardee County. And so we have an estimate on the roof for $175,000, which we reference in your letter. If we went with a $175,000 request from USDA and Jenna, USDA would give us $60,000 towards the roof. That leaves $115,000 that the town needs to come up with, and we're asking if the county commission might be able to help with $50,000, and that would leave the town coming up with $65,000 for the roof. And what I put in your all's packet, there's like one copy of, I'm gonna call it our ARPA breakdown sheet, because in both cases, we're asking, I know, you all have a dwindling account, which is
Right.
that's the goal.
Yes.
And my understanding in speaking with Greg, there was like maybe a ballpark 200, and that's a moving target, because as requests come in, you fund them, which just makes sense. The town got a little over 114,000, and if you can see the breakdown over there, we've been using that for leak repairs that we've just not had the funding for. The second project that I'm going to talk with you about, and I'm going to talk to skin in the game because that's the popular buzzword, we're putting $20,000 of our ARPA money into the sewer project that we're working on, and we've got here with the maps. The solar field down here, this was a request for $750,000, and we're sitting on 3 different lists for possible funding. And the list for the funding, the change is what is the local commitment. And the county commission, you all offered to pledge money if we got lucky. I'm still crossing fingers. We have not heard from the REP program, the Rural Energy Pilot Program. That is a 10% local share. We've been told that information is coming. We don't know. We were one of 85 people invited to, or municipalities invited to fill out the full application. We are on an earmark with Senators Capito and Manchin through the Department of Energy, and that's a 50-50, and that would leave us with $350,000. So that the 70 and change is going whichever way it may go. The third list that we're sitting on is the Clean Water State Revolving Fund, and we're the only green energy project on there. We're really channeling a lot of positive vibes for the solar field, because the goal with the solar field is it would reduce our operating costs for the sewer lagoon, which is our most expensive, followed by the community center, followed by our water treatment plant. Those are our 3 top items, and that would ultimately help delay doing another rate increase down the road. So, that's why we're looking there. And this list, when we submitted it back in the spring, I put down at the bottom prior list, was showing where we planned on using the money for water repairs. Just, if you're comparing information on that. So we would request any kind of consideration that you might be able to help us with on the roof. Happy to answer any questions that you might have.
You have any questions for Betsy?
Hey Betsy,
Mhm.
does this have did you put the numbers for the population? Okay, yeah, 1,000 wastewater treatment plant, it serves 1,000. You know what the population growth in Wardensville? This is, if you don't, I just, it's like
Population
coming.
growth, I've got no clue, and depending on whose census chart you're looking at.
Yeah,
We were originally at 271. I'm seeing a low of 258, and I've seen a high of 291. And it
Okay.
depends on which agency's report
Yeah.
that you're pulling. The growth part, I've not seen anything on growth.
Okay.
The calls that I have made, and I believe from where I'm speaking, this would be a county thing. In the Wardensville area, and I believe in the greater county area, we do not have enough adequate and affordable housing
Yes.
for folks to,
Yes.
to locate, and I think it's very apparent over at East Hardy, where
Yes.
they moved kids up from the middle
Yes.
school to the high school to do those numbers.
Yeah.
It's just, in the Wardensville area, rents and prices have gone squirrely.
Yes.
And if
Yeah.
you are working a manufacturing job and you have, 2 or 3 kids,
Yes, you can.
you need that entry-level housing.
Yeah.
And honestly, I was talking with the VFW, it's like 2.5, 3 years ago. There was a tract of land beside the Cacapon that
Yes.
Oakcrest had. I can't remember if it was 68, I'm gonna say 68 houses. I mean, site plan, everything ready to do. And I'm talking with Oakcrest and saying, look, can we do a public-private? And we're chatting, and I'm calling HUD. I'm just trying to figure out any way we can make this work. And in the conversation, they told me they were talking with Jonathan D. Lewis and Farms Works Wonders. And it's like, we can't compete with that money. Now, the total shame is, that piece of property, 22 acres, went for $150,000
Wow.
with
Wow.
site plans ready to go.
Wow.
Engineering, I mean, the engineering plans there, and it's like, had I not, that would have been worth
Yeah.
being a little bit of a Jack Russell Terrier
Yeah.
over. But it is what it is, and we need housing in the
Right.
county
Right. We do.
for families. And, that would help, I think, with employment. I think it would help, it would definitely help with the school system. I mean, heck, if you got 10 families in Wardensville with 2 or 3 children, that changes the ratio in the classroom.
That's changing. Yes, you're right.
And if you've got kids, classrooms sitting on the cusp. But to go back to your original question, the growth part, I think the growth is gonna be impacted by housing, and that housing is an issue across the county.
It is an issue, yeah. And on those census numbers, we're finding that with the comprehensive plan, depending on which source you look at, it's different depending on which source you go to, yeah.
And rentals are at a premium. I have rentals, rarely do I have to advertise. I've got people calling, and it's, we all kind of try to navigate or refer people, try here, try there. It's just,
Yeah, they're
yeah,
new to it.
and 3-bedroom is what's in the demand. It's a 1 or 2 bedroom.
Yeah.
That's not what's in need, 3+. So, other questions you might have?
Any more questions, Dave?
No, I think, like I say, I've looked at the numbers here, and like I said, and I talked with Greg a little bit yesterday, if we commit this $125,000 that Betsy's requesting for these 2 projects, the one for the roof and other structural things for the health clinic, pharmacy, and fitness center, and then the one to go along with the water sewer project there, the utility there that they manage and operate. That's gonna pretty much expend all of our ARPA funds, or we'll have committed all of our ARPA funds. I think both of those are
Really good request.
reasonable projects.
Yeah.
I'd make a motion that we go ahead and we grant the town of Wardensville the request for $75,000 for the water, wastewater and water improvements, and the $50,000 in support of the necessary renovations and other things needed to put the roof back on the health clinic, pharmacy, fitness center.
A second.
All right, properly moved and second to award the funding best request, I don't have to have the specific, what was it, 75 and 50?
Yeah, that's right.
for the projects in Warrensville. Is there any more discussion? No discussion, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 I have, thank you so very,
Thank you for all
very,
you're
very
doing,
much.
Bessie. Thank you guys
Um,
for all you're doing.
I have one, and this might be a Ms. Branson question. Greg was kind enough to send me some information on a program that you all got some information on. I guess it was a federal revenue sharing, that there was a request due for January 31st.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything, I tried to read that and understand that. I took one swipe at it, and I haven't gone back and do a second. I almost need like a translator. But Greg said, you know, there might be, we're working on the cafeteria building. We're looking at a long-term low-interest loan to rehab it and get a child care center. And my question was, you know, I didn't know if you all were planning on looking for it, or if we might be able to reach out to you and say, hey, is this something we could work together on? I don't know, but it doesn't hurt to ask, because I, like I said, I read it, and it's like, I don't know exactly what I've read. I was trying to digest it. So, all righty. Folks, thank you so very much. Whenever you're over in Wordensville, please stop in and see us. If you need a bathroom and we're over there, stop in. And I can also help you with bottled water.
We'd love to have you come and look at our plant and our plans for the water and treatment plant. We're really excited about that.
We've got a good we're very tickled. We're working with RK&K, which is an engineering group out of Kaiser. We're working with them, and I can't say enough good things. I almost wish I had some pom-poms here. I'm sorry, that's a vision you'll never get out of your head. Can't say enough good things about Region 8 Planning and Development Council, Terry Lively, Angie Curl, Pam Keplinger, all of those folks. We could not do what we're doing without that regional support in helping us make contacts throughout the state. And I think at the end of the day, it's working together and talking, and how can we leverage things, to go back what you said, to help out the county. And so, thank you, and just want to sing their praises.
Thank you.
Okay, you all have a beautiful day.
Betsy, you hearing any more about the corridor and the engineering that was being done, that they were talking about that might affect the well?
We've had, so, we have not signed off on the agreement that the state said they would do with us to protect the well, and that if there was damage, they would bear, you know, they would step up and put in, filtration plant. You know, we have a contingency plan for the worst case scenario. We've not seen we've talked about it. It should have already been signed. We have not seen that. And so part of what we will be doing, I started a letter to Jimmy Reston, who is the head of transportation, and I'm trying to think of the number 2 guy. I'm gonna call him Tony, but I know that's not right. Travis. Travis is the number 2, and he's the one that's heading up all of Corridor H. I need to finish a letter to Jimmy, but that's also gonna be part of the public comment for the corridor, saying, you know, we were working to do this, but we haven't signed it, and, you know, this needs to be done. They have put in the monitoring wells.
Correct, they have 3 monitoring wells up on the mountain. Everything's looking good. Our biggest concern was that we put in this new plant, and they're coming through our wellhead protection area, that they don't destroy our water.
And
they basically guaranteed that they're gonna take care of any problems if something would arise. And then we have, of course, a monitoring program in place to make sure if something does happen, we have the before numbers and the after numbers, so we can say, hey, this is the before, this is the after.
the one thing that I would throw out, and this is gonna be a message that needs to be communicated to the community at large, is once you get out Waits Run Road, those homes are all on wells.
Yes.
And in speaking with Heidi at the health department, because I had gone to a Corridor H public meeting, and there was one lady that said, no, all wells have to be tested, this, that, and the other, and I said, that is not true. And she's like, she was emphatic. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna call Heidi, and Heidi said, no, that's not the case. You put in a well, you can choose to test it, not test it. She had mentioned when Columbia Gas went through, that there were folks that did not have their wells tested, and there were problems after the line went through, and there was no compensation to damage to the wells. So I'm not an attorney, and I'm on town water, but I would want someone to tell me that you should, consider getting your well tested before they blast, sometime during the blasting, and then after they blast. Because what we got told on the town is there could be disruptions to our water plant up to 5 years after that project is finished with the settling and the karst. And, that would just be a safe thing for the homeowner to do.
Yeah, now, could they, like, it would be a great thing if they would send out a notice to all the homeowners, something like that, right? That lets. They won't do it. Okay,
From
they
what
won't
I
do it.
understand.
It would be great, but
It would be great. I don't know that they're gonna do that. What I
Right.
understand from them is that they will go and check foundations on the houses within a certain radius
Okay.
of where they're blasting, but what they're telling, I don't know. And what I can say for us, we were told a lot of things, and we were led to believe one thing, and then we learned different. And we were basically being kept in the dark until I wrote, I want to call it the very pointed letter, and it went to Federal Highways, the governor, and a who's who. We couldn't get anyone to talk with us really beforehand. We got told by a state person that if there was damage to our water system, we were on our own. And that was when Flint, Michigan was going on, and we said, what happens if you damage? And they said, you're on your own. And I referenced that in the letter, and the state came back and said, that's not true. And I said, I was polite, I didn't throw anybody under the bus, but now I'm throwing you under the bus. This is who said that, and these were the people in the room who heard that. And then once we called that out, we started the path for the agreement, but we haven't signed it. And to me, it's not a done deal until it's signed.
Correct.
But if there's anything we need to do, at least letters of concern
Okay.
or support or something, that we need to send you, let us know.
We'll keep you, apprised of that, because we're serving not only the town, the county, and the PSD, and at some point in time, I think the county is going to grow. We just need to have those sites for people to come, but having the public water helps with property insurance and these other things with the ISO report, so. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you all so much. Have a beautiful day.
You guys too.
Okay.
If you need anything, just reach out.
I'll give you a holler, and maybe you can help translate on that document.
All right. Thanks, Betsy.
Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas, everyone.
Okay. We down to them?
Contributions, is that the fire
All right, we have the contributions to the fire companies. And I don't know if we need to explain everything about it or not, and how we remedied this figure. Actually, Greg remedied this figure to us. It's just, what we, I don't know if I need to explain it all. What happened was somehow or another we missed paying last year. That's why this year's a little more expensive. How that came about, I have no clue, but I do know. A lot of things come past just like today, approving this money and that got laid by the wayside and just never got picked back up and run off with it. Because we have allocated monies every year for the last 3 years, got back to doing this for the fire companies. And it's kind of based on number of calls run. And I'm happy to announce this year that we are going to distribute $150,000 between Moorefield, Mathias, Warrensville, and Rye Fire Company. And the amounts will be 70, I can read this, this is really small, 78,000 and some change for Moorefield. Capen is 26,000 and some change. Mathias is 35,000 and some change. And Rye is 10,000. what's that,
Yeah, that's
55?
it. That was for 2 years.
2 years, okay.
Basically.
So, actually, I'm really happy to be able to do this, and I hope we will get it done before Christmas or shortly thereafter, without first of the year. I'll entertain a motion to approve this.
I make a motion we approve that, the distribution to the fire companies in the amount given by our commission president.
Second.
Been properly moved and second to approve this allocation to the fire companies. Is there any more discussion? Discussion, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And,
What's the Cape in? Can you say the Cape in again?
Cape is 26, I think it is, and change.
26, okay.
Okay. Approved. Cut the check. All right. Next thing on the list is, commission to hire a part-time custodian.
I guess the discussion's already been had. We basically found out that we can satisfy the custodial needs of the courthouse with a part-time position rather than the full-time position in that same role. And so the recommendation has been put forth that we hire a part-time custodian. And we have put out notice. We have 3 applications, and I don't know if the closing date, 3 applications so far. I'm not sure that the closing date has passed yet. But
It has.
It has?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll be in the process of selecting a part-time custodian to fill that role. And like I say, we need to, I guess at this time, have a motion to go ahead and approve the employment of a part-time custodian, and I'd make that motion.
Second.
All right, properly moved and second to line up and hire a part-time custodian. Any more discussion? No discussion, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. All right, we're down here to the air tank grant for the fire companies. We received approval, and we're gonna get it, but we don't have the check yet, do we?
We do not.
And I explained to Steve and Dave that I had a conversation with Craig Stallman, who's the president of the Thias Fire Company. And those tanks run just, he said the last quota they got was $899 a piece. And about so you just want to say $900 a piece on these tanks. We got a grant approved for $17,000 and some change. They're in need of 50
Right.
tanks right now. They're all expired. They have a expiration date of, is it 10 or 15 years? They gotta have them certified every 5 years, and 15 years is their life expectancy. So every 15 years, they gotta be replaced. But they're willing to accept higher, my thoughts was, we would take the grant and match a certain amount of CARES money to the grant and buy however many you think.
We can get a certain amount, that's what we can get.
They're willing to 10, 20, 30, at one time, they'd be happy with it.
That's the reason that all 50 went out at the same time, was the fact that they got a grant, they bought them all.
Bought them all at one
And they
time.
all
and
expired
Now
at
they're
the same
all
time.
expired at one time. Large bill coming out.
Yeah, we've gotta do something there, you know, and if Matthias Baker obviously is in the greatest need, I'd say that's where we go first.
What do you think?
We're gonna do
I'm
good.
just gonna throw this figure out there. Do you think if we can match, in other words, round the figure off, say 30,000?
Okay.
And that will get them, 30 tanks roughly, give or take, or maybe 31. I mean, we would, in other words, we'll be
Well, a
having.
total of 30 tanks, you're saying, with the
Right, with
like
the
say-
17,000, and we'll add about 13 to it, and round it off to 30. How it carries now.
I make a motion, we do that, yes.
I'll second.
All right, been properly moved and second to, the air tank grant plus match it with whatever it takes to make 30,000. Is there any more discussion? No discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. All right, next thing on the list, this is probably your category, Stephen.
Yeah, I got, you didn't happen to print that out, did you, Lindy?
I can if you want me to.
New ceiling for the
Do
dog
you
pound.
guys want this printed out? I can tell you what it
Give me
is.
give me the.
So, with the backstory on this is, you know, we want to, continually invest in our dog shelter. So that's a very important thing, you know, that when you have animals, you know, that need to be picked up, our county does that. That's part of a service that we provide for this county. So our dog shelter right now, and we have several things that we're working on there, but one of them is a new ceiling. And I've been in there, we all have, we've all been in there lately. So the ceiling is a drop ceiling, and that shelter has to be washed out, you know, like with the, you know, the dogs in there always, it has to be washed out. So there's moisture in there all the time, and so the drop ceiling gets wet, expands, and then just drops down, and that's what's happening. And so Jim Shoup, our dog warden, that was one of his requests that he's put in over the last month, is for a new ceiling. And so we got an estimate on it. The total estimate for a new ceiling is $3,208.93. That will be a metal ceiling. He also has the material. The materials are $1,499. That's with insulation included in it, and the labor is $1,500. So basically half is material, which it's pretty. It's honestly, it's. I thought it was a really good estimate. That's with First Class Handy Services, who gave that estimate, and he has a materials list from 84 Lumber, and so everything is mentioned, going from. He's listed everything. He went to 84 Lumber, got him all the materials that would be needed, and he has it all itemized here as in terms of what. And we don't have to put something for bid if it's under 15,000. So this would come in and we can approve this.
Can he do that with the dogs still in there? Will they don't work around that?
I'm pretty sure he will. They didn't. Jim did not tell me.
Your
He
boss.
didn't say. Yeah. He didn't say like they would have to make adjustments, move it. They
That's loud
can
in
do it
there.
with them. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have we got any more word on the grant for the expansion of the dog pound?
No, I'm waiting for, we need to get with get some contractors
Get some
out there
bids.
and get some
Okay.
bids. Run an ad in the paper for anything, I guess, what size, I have no idea what size of an
Yeah.
expansion.
Yeah.
Maybe
Well,
get
we'll
with,
have to
we need to have a
that
meeting,
And a figure
have a meeting with Jim.
to know what to apply.
We've talked about it so much, we've talked about the same footprint that's there now, match that.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
if that's the case, then that particular piece of ground would probably still be adequate, although we did have a question about if the septic was large enough to handle, another kennel for 14 or 15 dogs.
And he's very full right now. It's very full. Like I think
Did you ever get the new gates when we?
he's I talked to him just over this last week, and the guy's supposed to be getting it to him soon. He doesn't have it right now, but he's supposed to be getting it to him soon.
I talked to some folks over in Winchester, and they said right now that the shelters there are full. People are turning animals in. It may be a whiplash from COVID. I'm not
And the
sure,
dog food,
and
the
that's
food
sad.
prices are it's
Dog
going up
food prices are
tremendously.
going crazy. It's just a sad
Still, it
commentary.
amazes me the amount of dogs that they had to move out of Florida over that hurricane.
Yes,
That just
Yeah.
30,000 in one plane load. Ain't that, that's almost
Unbelievable.
unimaginable. All right.
Stephen, how do you want to proceed on this?
I would like to make a motion that we approve the estimate from First Class Handy Service for $3,208.93 to complete the metal ceiling, with insulation included at the Hardy County Dog Shelter.
Second.
All right, been properly moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Do
Is
we,
that the wrong class?
Rob Class.
do we want to add to January's agenda to look at,
The, bill for the building.
yeah,
Let's add it to January's agenda.
Okay.
That'd be good, and we'll be working on it and
Okay.
get things ready.
all right, perfect.
All right, Wendy, you're next on the list.
I'm next on the list, okay. Well, let's see what I have. As mentioned earlier, for the new roof for the sheriff's office, for the tax office, we applied for a courthouse facilities improvement grant for the 20th cycle, and we did receive, the maximum award of $18,200. And I have a contract that Jay will need to sign for that, for us to go into contract with them, as well as the funding award letter. So I'll just get that to you in here in a little bit. And like was discussed earlier, we do have one bid for that as well. So, that was Jeremy Shingleton for his bid, so.
We need a motion for approval on any of that.
Probably should.
Yeah,
Is that
for-
the only bid that we received?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. I'll go ahead and make a motion that we approve or accept the bid that's been presented for the roof placement on the courthouse annex or.
Second.
All right, properly moved to accept the bid for the courthouse facilities improvement. Any more discussion? No discussion, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion approved.
We received from the West Virginia Conservation Agency a distribution list for Lunas Creek monitoring and emergency action plans. It was approved, for their plan for the Lost River number 10 flood control structure. It was approved at their meeting on November the 1st. This came from Penny Hott, the watershed executive assistant. I did talk to Greg, and we're gonna keep a copy here in our office, and also a copy in the clerk's office if anybody needs anything as far as the action plan. Probably Melissa, I would think in planning, probably should also get a copy of that.
Yeah.
And she may have already got a copy. I haven't spoken, nor did the email that.
We
when
have
this
our
came
meeting
through.
tonight. I'll ask her about it.
Then I'll just make a copy, and then you can just take it in
That'd
case
be
if they
good,
didn't
just
get
in
it.
case they need, that'd
Okay.
be good.
So.
There's no action that we need to take. on
No,
that.
just wanted to let, Greg and I decided, that it'd probably be best for you guys to, just make a mention of it. I can give it to you all, and you all can take a look at it as well. Just to let you know. We also have the upcoming holiday schedule for 2023 of our list of holidays that will need a motion for approval, and they're listed here on the sheet like we had from last year.
And I was gonna say, it's pretty much the same as last year.
It is the same as last year.
Is it covered on because we had an issue with the Juneteenth and the West Virginia Day. Is there any issue on that? with
No, there
this one?
shouldn't be, because the discussion, if I remember last year,
Yeah,
or actually this year that we're still
Right.
in, that was the discussion because it fell on a weekend, and some
Yes.
counties were observing on Friday,
Yes.
some counties were observing on Monday, if
Yes.
I remember correctly, I can't remember. That has worked its way out in the month of June.
okay.
So we do, they are observing June 19th, and then we will be taking June, the 19th, which is a Monday, and then we will also get West Virginia Day,
The 20th.
the
so
20th,
next
and
day,
that'll be
Monday
on
and
Tuesday. So the courthouse will be closed on Monday and Tuesday. But that was the discussion
That
from
was the
last year, but yeah,
discussion,
it did
'cause
work
was like
its,
Friday and Monday,
Yep,
and then
it-
some were going to do both of them on Monday, and things
Yeah.
like that.
it was kind of a split decision, and that wasn't until later in the year when everybody started looking at it, because,
Yeah.
but yeah, it has worked its way out.
Okay.
As far as the letter of support, do you have a letter of support? in any of your stuff from Greg, is I do not
We,
have the,
we got a letter back that we've been turned down, right? For this.
yes.
Yeah. Is that the one, that's the same one, right?
Yes, but I do not have, I know that sometimes Greg will do letters and he just takes care of it when he's here, so you don't have anything.
Double check on that.
Yeah.
You saw that, didn't you? They
Do we
didn't
need
approve
to make
that.
a motion on the holiday
Conservation
schedule
didn't
for
Yes,
approve that
I
for
believe
South
so,
Branch
yes.
River cleanup and funding. They didn't approve it.
How much was that for?
You remember what that was for? Actually, did they tell us what it was for? I don't think they ever told us what it was for. We just gave the support and they applied for funding, but they didn't tell us
They
what it
didn't
was.
tell us how much or?
No, no.
I do also have a couple other things that are not on the agenda, but they are for discussion, if you all wanna talk about those as well. They came in later, then we can actually, I guess, make decisions in January for the meeting. But the things that I have, the biggest thing is we received a letter, it's actually a petition it's a petition to request immediate action to restore the East Hardy branch of the Hardy County Public Library. Action to restore the East Hardy branch has been delayed for 9.5 years. This, letter came from Wendy Zola, Susan Nichols, and Tracy Ratliff. Yes. And Tony Harvey, but she did not sign the letter. And they have numerous signatures for a petition to bring the library back over to East Hardy. And that's all we received. Nobody called. I don't know if you all have heard any discussion about that or not, so.
I've heard discussion from, individuals talking to me about it, and my thoughts are on it, we support it, there's not, we don't have a source identified for funding yet, but we support what they're saying. Or at least, I think probably the commission supports what they're saying, just identifying a source for funding.
I wonder if,
Is this not an issue for the library commission?
And that's the other issue, is
Right.
there's a library commission itself, and it is an issue for them.
And this is addressed to the Hardy County Public Library.
That's a good point,
So-
that's a good point.
This is just maybe a for your information kind of a thing,
I mean, it's a copy of what they.
but yeah.
but like I said, that's all we got with no explanation whatsoever, so.
Yeah, I've
Accompany with
heard the
that.
same discussion and thoughts that, it went away and never been returned.
See, this can fall back a little bit to the Board of Education. I mean, they really just want done away with it over there. I don't know what kind of agreement they had when they done that. I don't know if that would be something they ought to be involved with a little
They
bit.
should be involved, absolutely they should, yes.
Do we,
To me, it's a library commission's issue, and if they gonna come to us and try to help or something, that would be another thought, don't you think?
do we need to maybe contact anybody at the Board of
Well, like I
Education? I mean,
said-
or do we wanna get in,
I think that's the biggest reason Marty resigned from the commission was because of, they wasn't doing anything, they just went dead
I
in
can
the
work
water
on
over
contacting
there.
somebody at the library commission, just
Okay.
trying to get some input from them.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely I will.
if you wanna take, I can make you a copy of that if you need
Okay,
it,
okay, that'll be good,
just
yeah.
remind me. And
We need a motion to approve this. The holiday schedule.
I'll make a motion, we approve the holiday schedule as presented.
Second.
All right, properly moved and second to accept the holiday schedule as presented. Is there any more discussion? Discussion, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion approved.
And one other thing that I have, we did get an email, which you guys probably saw that yesterday with me being out yesterday. I didn't get a chance to ask you guys this morning before the meeting. We have our, it's time to register for the 2023 Conference of Counties. Did you guys see that?
Yep, we did,
Okay.
yep.
The 5th through the 8th, and that's what we were talking about, to change the commission meeting as well.
Yeah.
I'll have the application or the registration, so after the meeting,
Talking about going ahead and registering.
I wanna go ahead and register
Yeah,
and go
if
ahead
you
and get
could.
our rooms reserved, since we can do that.
Yeah,
Okay.
get us registered.
I agree, we should go ahead and do it,
Okay,
yeah.
yep. And outside of that, there was just a couple you all know that you have the, upcoming meeting for December the 12th at Region 8 at the PDC office at 6:30.
You know, when for those meetings, we should call and get several meetings scheduled with like our delegates. We
Okay.
work on that, I'll work on it as well, but it's, you know, that's a very important thing. Like that we have meetings set up with the delegates to talk with them about things that, you know, cause like I'm meeting with the planning commission this evening, they're probably gonna put some input in for legislation that's being worked on. And that's an important thing to do while we're out there.
Oh, yeah, definitely, but I didn't want that to get past
Yeah,
us,
right.
so. But that's all I have. Yeah, I'm finished,
Okay.
yes.
Now we're down to Greg Ewing.
Loretta,
So, you guys know I'm Loretta, I'm one of the deputies here, Mr. Gilling's out today, and I'm just kind of dropped in the middle of this trying to figure out what I'm doing. I know that on our agenda, we have our regularly scheduled things, which include, our estates, appointments, closures. We also have our exonerations, which all the commissioners have those lists. We also, and, it looks like he usually approves the minutes from last time. There are also the bills that are to be paid and the invoices that, the commission has already reviewed. And the report of our payroll register, which I believe you gentlemen have all of those things there to look at and go through.
one thing was for the election certification, right? That was
Yeah.
certifying the minutes of the canvas. I'd make a motion that be accepted.
Second it.
I've been properly moved and second. Whatever you said.
The minutes from the canvas.
Okay, minutes from the canvas. All right. Is there any discussion? No discussion, all those in favor, same by saying.
Well, I do have pictures of, you know, I just think it would be important for us to keep in mind. I took pictures of the paper ballots that were left over.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
You see did you see the, yeah,
Yeah.
It's just-
Well, it was 83% waste.
83%.
83% of the paper ballots that we purchased never got used.
Yeah.
So, in my eyes, it's a no-brainer, the next time we won't have paper ballots. We will be using the machine. It's too much waste that I don't think was used enough to even consider. People just have to get used to that, because the other ones are safer, they're not hooked up to the internet or nothing.
They're not.
You can't tamper with them, and they're paper, they print out.
They
It
do.
isn't like
They do.
somebody can tamper with it. I think people understand how that works and fine with it.
And I know I was down, you know, in the room while the count was happening, and you know, one thing that we have to think about for next time is the absentee ballots and the bending. You know, when they're folded, it causes some time delays. So it's just something. I think that's going to be solved for next time, because it didn't happen in the, primary. It didn't happen in the primary, but there was that machine is, tested before every election, and someone comes in and he can make an adjustment, and he might have adjusted the settings too tight, and then that caused us to be delayed. So, just a little bit of something, like the little practical things that the clerk's office has to deal with, and that election by our clerk's office and the people who volunteered was done really well. That we finished up right after midnight. Work was being done the entire time, and it, other than being delayed on the voting, got the job done.
Okay, we haven't done this, approval of the order barring objections of the estate, so.
Yes, there's only one. It's in the back of your, list of settlements. It's from Naomi Warrior's estate.
I can hear you.
There's only one. It's for the Naomi Meadows estate.
Okay,
It's in the back of your, list of orders closing the other normal administrations.
here.
Yes.
All right, need a motion to approve that.
So moved. Second.
Second, properly moved and second to, accept the order barring estates of the estate that she mentioned. Is there any discussion? No discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. Okay. Another, Steve, sign this. All right.
Minutes.
have to make that,
You what?
we'll have to make a motion to approve that.
The minutes.
Thanks,
Bank.
thanks.
I'll give this back to you.
Go ahead and make the motion, Steve, while you have that.
Okay. You want to read this as an order?
Yeah.
Well, so the order by the county commission, our county commission, delinquent tax sale, responsibility to the state auditor's office. The state auditor has requested that the county open a checking account designated as Fund 361 certified to the state. The state auditor has designated the Hardy County Sheriff to be the signer of the said account. Now therefore, by this order, the County Commission of Hardy County does hereby instruct the county clerk to open said account at one of the banking institutions previously designated by said county commission as a designated depository. I move that we accept this order.
Okay. Second, properly moved and second to accept this order. Is there any more discussion?
This is in response, if I am correct, to the bill that was passed by the legislature, which basically takes the sheriff's sale away from the county.
That's what I understand.
Yes.
All right, is there any more discussion? No discussion, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. Do we have anything else we need to act on? Not at all.
Take the minutes.
Yes.
Read the minutes, just for approval of the minutes, well, let me do the copy of the jail bill. Jail bill in order for October, month of October was $38,358.75. Farmland preservation for the month of November was $14,440.80. With that said, we will read you the minutes of November the 1st, 2022, stated meeting, November the 14th, 2022, canvas, election canvas, exonerations, settlements, consolidations, orders, payroll register, clerk's report of wills admitted and curators appointed, clerk's report of administrators, curators, and committees appointed. I'll entertain a motion to approve these minutes.
So moved.
Second.
I've been properly moved in second. Is there any discussion? No discussion, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion approved. I don't know if we have anything else on that.
One thing that I asked to be added, just for more or less an informational type thing, received a letter that was hand delivered to my home last night, from the Tri-County Fair Association. It says, "Dear Commission members, we're writing on behalf of the Tri-County Fair Association. The Board of Directors and officers have always done their best to bring the best possible fair each year to the citizens of Grant, Hardy, and Pendleton counties. The board has also done its best to modernize and keep the fairgrounds and facilities in the best possible condition for those visitors. However, we are now at a point where we need to upgrade our electrical systems. We have two issues. Every electrical service that we have is full and we need more power. More power is needed for campers, equipment in the barns, and for our vendors. During Fair Week, we are at our maximum capacity. The second issue we have is a major safety issue. The electrical systems we have now are old, outdated, and for safety reasons alone, it all needs to be updated. Attached, you'll find a confidential estimate of what all the repairs and upgrades will cost. We are asking for funding to help us update these electrical systems. We have applied for grants from the USDA, but also know that if we are successful in receiving grants or a grant, we will still have to have matching funds. We would greatly appreciate any help that you could give us with this project. If you have any questions, please feel free to call. They have a couple of phone numbers there. And if we do not answer, we will find someone who can respond. And it's basically addressed, signed Roy Harper, Fair Board President, Deb Cosner, Fair Board Treasurer, Julie Show, Fair Board Member, James Pitzenbarger, Fair Board Member. The estimate is itemized, and again, I guess as it said, this is confidential estimate. However, the total price given for all of the noted necessary improvements exceeds $400,000. The Tri-County Fair is over 100 years old. It's the only fair in the state where three counties get together to share a time of fair and a time of gathering in friendly competition. I would hope that there'd be some other bids come in. That seems a little bit extreme to me, but I'd say we just kind of at least are aware that the Tri-County Fair may be coming back to us at some point in time, maybe once they hear from grants asking for some kind of support from the county commission, and I offer that today just as kind of a informational kind of a presentation.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that they are bringing it before us. It's a pretty big request. Maybe they will be able to get some more estimates. I think that the Tri-County Fair is very important. You know, you see kids up there showing their cattle, showing their other animals. It's a lot of involvement from the community. It's an important thing. So it's a very important request, no question.
Yeah, I don't have any issues with it. Actually,
But you
the
think they're
last
gonna,
few years, I've got more involved than I ever was.
no, it's a
Because
great
of him.
thing. It's great.
But, and did not regret any of it. I've had a good time. And,
Well, that's what makes those things happen, is the volunteers from the community that help make it run.
There are a ton of people from our community that go there. I can attest to that. When it comes to 6 o'clock, I'm pretty glad my shift is ending, because it's very busy.
I'm gonna tell you one thing, the evening they have the concert,
Yeah, right.
you are busy at the ticket, busy.
And that's the one that Greg likes to,
I mean, you have people
Volunteer.
coming in that's got
It's-
prepaid tickets, people coming in to pay you.
Yep.
And you got to keep at, and then you gotta look on the list, because their name's on the list, they prepaid. And you gotta mark it, it's a lot to keep up with.
it is.
It's
And you
fun.
can't even, the money comes in too fast, you cannot keep up counting what you have in there. It's no telling how much gets in that box in a little bit. Cause when they come and get it, you just, it's like that, put it in a big bag. No, and you don't count. It's really mind blowing at times that evening, that's really busy. But I think what we need to do is, wait to hear back from them and see what the other counties are
Well, and then,
willing to contribute
and then in the
what
meantime,
grants we might be getting.
right, and in the meantime, like, they said they're pursuing they
Yes,
searched out for
grants or
grants.
grant.
And we, you know, maybe, like, we'll be calling to see, you know, maybe we can identify something.
Oh, I'm sure we got a man here on the inside, he'll be
There's a
able
man
to
on
find
the
out.
inside, he'll get it done.
He's,
We'll get it after that.
you on the board?
No,
Okay.
I'm just a volunteer like
Oh, okay.
You're a little
Yeah, but
higher
they
up,
look-
he's a
you
little higher
outrun
up
it.
than us, though.
You
He's a
just
little
about
privy.
run it there.
Yeah.
I look
If
for
somebody
him to
would ask
answer.
me who the president of the Tri-County Fair was, I would say Dave
I
Yeah,
Martin.
but-
guarantee
He's on,
you,
he's,
if the president asked him
I
how to
guarantee,
do
you.
it.
I guarantee. you.
Ask Dave, he'll know, that's the
They'll-
discussion
I'm
that
telling
gets
you one thing, it
discussed.
comes, they'll be lost without him because there's not another one.
Absolutely, they will be, yeah.
Dave's all knowing in everything that he
All right.
does.
Are we, anyone have anything else? I mean, I think we're getting about finished.
Merry Christmas, congratulations on the grant award.
Thank you so much
As
for your
always.
support.
Thank you for
Any
the
others,
letter
just let us
support.
know.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
We'll be-
Yes, sir.
I'll be in touch, Rhett.
Enjoy your route.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
She, Wendy said she'll be in touch.
I'll be in
Okay.
touch,
Yes,
Rhett.
ma'am.
Thank you, yeah, thank you for your work.
We always appreciate you.
I haven't been
Keep on
designated
top of the rest.
staying, taking care of Hardy, I don't know if I will or not, but either way, the office, you know how it goes. And even if I'm not, you can call me or whoever. you know.
You said you haven't been designated yet?
No, they haven't come down with the plan
With the
of the particular assignments in the counties.
Yeah, okay.
When does
But the
that-
office still, you know.
Oh, yeah,
still
gotcha,
the
okay,
Same email addresses. and
Okay.
whatnot.
okay.
There's gonna be some change, you know how it goes,
Yeah,
change
yeah.
addresses, stationaries, business cards and all that
Gotcha.
stuff, but we're still in business. So,
Well, we always appreciate you, Rhett.
well, my pleasure, I enjoy seeing these guys and ladies, so, but thanks for what y'all do,
Thank you.
and the sheriff too.
Absolutely.
If we don't have social order, we gotta find some money, that's for sure, so.
What else he needs to sign?
I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Submit.
Second.
Properly moved and second, anybody don't want to, you can stay here while I'm going. All right, all in favor, by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn was completed.